tragic.
Flames jumped into the dark as a growing fire forced dozens of people out of the Stonewood condos on Richards Avenue.
Absolutely tragic. Stunning.
Residents watched and waited, wondering if their homes could be saved and their pets could be rescued.
Luckily, we're on so far the safe side, but hopefully they can stop the fire.
Finally, firefighters carried some animals out in cages. For their owners, a moment of relief. For others, the concern continued.
Ricky, Della, and Sammy.
Several young people explained this was their first place of their own after college.
I'm still in adrenaline rushing out right now and figuring out what exactly comes next.
Now they're learning a difficult lesson.
It's really tough to fathom. I mean, it's just one big community at this complex, so it'll really hurt all of us.
We're going to commence the drill. Are you ready? Truck 2, car 36, tanker 12. Alert 3, aircraft crash, runway 35, Danbury Airport. Message received, all set.
On Thursday, the Danbury Fire Department simulated emergencies during several high-pressure training drills. Incident Commander Steve Rogers says it's critical.
It's why we exist. When we respond to these emergencies that happen from time to time, we have to be in a position and be prepared.
One simulation featured a crash with a combative pilot.
We don't really practice that because it hasn't occurred, but we thought it was a scenario that as society changes, it may be more and more a possibility.
Ladder 2, make sure that airplane gets chocked as well. We're working on it, trying to flush it off.
The tower's got a call down list.
Airport Assistant Administrator Michael Safranek says practice also allows them to flush out problems.
When people fly in and out of Danbury, they know they're getting the best.
Under the bright blue sky,
we're at a Habitat for Humanity site in Bridgeport.
Volunteers are building a home on DeForest Avenue.
Heavy stuff, man. Heavy stuff right here, man.
But they're not alone.
We have some great help today. We have our Youth Build members here today.
Might as well keep somebody in the truck passing them on.
Youth Build is a new program turning high school dropouts into certified construction workers.
My story, very simple. Just got into trouble.
People like George Clark.
And, came home and realized that I'm getting too old. I don't need no workout after this.
Clark left school and went to jail, but he always wanted something more.
At a certain point in time of your life, you gotta give it up, man. If it's not working.
Climbing side goes into the house.
Enter Youth Build.
It is a very intensive program because it mixes academics as well with occupational skills.
What we call this right here? Carpentry work, man.
And it's absolutely free.
They love being out here on the home site.
But it's a measured approach. Participants also go to classes to get their GED or their diploma.
Oh, I want to be an electrician. I used to do it back in the day before I got incarcerated.
They're building homes and building a future.
Mama gonna be proud.
In Bridgeport.
Auntie gonna be proud.
We come every year. Look at the cars, baby doll. Look at these guys. This is actually something that my kids look forward to for months because it's probably the best parade we ever go to.
Community members of all ages line the streets of Southport.
It's great to see everybody come out.
For the first half of this tradition, which was almost in jeopardy.
I'm so happy the weather cleared, This is a big deal for us every year. These are all our neighbors.
This event was started by my dad and his friend Steve Galpin and my dad's cousin, Chief David Russell of the Fairfield Fire Department.
That was 22 years ago. It began as a way to promote the village and recognize its sailing history.
Generations ago, this was a very active seaport, and the Portuguese started the tradition of the blessing of the fishermen.
So crowds joined in and followed the parade to the second half of today's ritual at the Lower Wharf.
It's just this great kind of coming together, and everybody can be part of it.
Dozens of boats passed under a water cannon for the blessing of the fleet as local clergy offered prayers.
Holy One, we ask your blessing on this boat and all who serves on it and enjoys it,
that it would be a source of life and love and happiness this day.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
God bless you always. Amen.
That's good luck for the rest of the sailing season.
In Southport,
This is to die for. So welcome to my studio. I was invited to come live with my girlfriend, and I'm in her basement. This is where my studio is. This is one of 9 figures that will be assembled into a 30-foot tall Gates of Creation that will be unveiled this fall in Shanghai. This is Clarion, represents the ascension and the awakening of the human spirit. It's just really great. Sunborn. She's the divinity angel. She will go on top of the gates of creation, 25 feet up in the air. This is very old clay. It's called Judici clay. You can't even get it anymore. It's actually 70 years old. You see, you can put your finger through there. And I love the way that it smells. It has this oily, deep aroma. Nice, huh? This piece is called Continuum. This is actually a couple 100 pounds of clay. He's a creator. He's holding the light of creation in his right hand. And I've made him also in pieces so that he can be carried out of the studio and we can make the mold. He is physical and part of the earth, but he is also in divinity as well. I've worked on Clarion for about a month, and I've been waiting for this day where he gets dismantled to make the silicone mold. And this is heavy. This is about 25 pounds. I'm embarrassed, but I love them. I love them because I slaved them. Wow. And they're my children. Now I'm going to start the mold making process. And here we go. And now I'm very carefully applying the first coat of silicone rubber, and it's going to capture all the detail that I put into the clay model. I work hard so that your eye will just flow over it and you feel the emotion and you feel beauty. So it's been 4 months. I started on the 3 pieces the very beginning of January. So that's the Continuum covered with rubber. I'm relieved that it's getting finished. At this point, I just want it done and shipped to California. After 2 years, I've made 9 figures, and this is the last one. I strive for perfection in my work. I don't often achieve it, but sometimes as an artist, you get to come close to achieving what you see in your heart's eye. Beautiful.
while practice makes perfect.
No. Try that. Eighth notes on a hi-hat.
A good teacher doesn't hurt.
Are you hearing the metronome in your headphones? It's not flowing yet.
And teacher Nate Barnes has rhythm in his blood.
I come from a very musical family, so I was always around it.
Nate started playing as a toddler, born with a gift and a challenge.
Really weak retinas. I lost sight of my left eye when I was 3, and I lost sight of my right eye when I was 10.
Still, Nate stayed focused on playing the drums.
I record, I wrote music, produced music, done soundtrack, worked with many different artists.
He started teaching when he was 13.
Different styles, different disciplines, just many different kids.
Including Jimmy Gilpin, a 12-year-old.
Very talented.
I'm paying him to say that.
Who reminds Nate of himself.
I lost my vision at 3.5.
For the past 2 years.
Put your hand over mine. And I feel from my wrist all the way to the top of my knuckles. You see what my wrist is doing?
Yeah, well, technically I don't see what your wrist is doing.
Laughter has been the soundtrack of their time together.
Mr. Nate's a really great teacher.
Check this out. It's fun. He keeps me on my toes. You can make money right now.
Mom, can I have some money? There, I made money.
Their bond is easy to see.
All right, try it.
And goes beyond music.
We both know what it's like to go through life, being blind.
I'm able to identify with him because I've been where he's going. All right, Jimmy, you ready?
Yes.
What notice is?
See?
Don't be looking, man.
Let me just look real quick. Here, I'm gonna look at it.
Their lessons, a learning experience for both.
He actually inspires me to be better.
You need to always follow your dreams and always try and succeed.
In Bridgeport,
Focus. Focus.
workouts
Flip that thing.
can change lives,
High knees, let's go.
making us
1,
stronger,
2,
healthier,
3.
My heart is racing.
countering our previous bad decisions.
It's too easy.
For Jaquan Adams,
It's always fun.
holding free fitness classes in Leone Park
Toes, knees, hips, jump to the sky, all right?
is a way to right his past wrongs here.
I've definitely destroyed a few families with what I was doing.
Adams grew up on the West Side,
You know, the struggle was real.
where his family faced tough times financially.
I was 15, 16, and you know, I wanted to put food on the table.
He turned to dealing drugs,
That's all I knew. You know, we didn't have any guidance like that.
and at the age of 22, went to prison for 3.5 years.
It was a change in my life, you know, and I believe adversity builds character. You know, I mean, sometimes you got to go through things to find out what you really want to do with your life.
The answer is twofold.
Mountain climber.
Personal training.
Get down. I've been an athlete, you know, basically all my life.
And donating his time to the community.
I just feel like giving back is something that I'm obligated to do.
Along with these twice-weekly classes,
Good job, good job.
Adams also trains kids for free,
Leap, burpee, let's go.
not wanting money to come between them and a positive role model.
I can mentor them through fitness. I'm reachable, I'm touchable.
And he knows firsthand about the pull of the streets.
That's why I have my class here, because a lot of kids around there can relate to me.
It's a way to shape not just bodies, but minds.
I think I could be here to, you know, change their lives, you know? Right.
In Stanford,
You're in the basement of St. John's Church, downtown Stanford, across from the Stanford Fire Department.
This has been a slow evolution from a little circle of trains in a corner to filling up the entire basement as you see it now.
Around 2,000 to maybe 3,000 feet of track to get around the layout. Assembling our track is not just pull it out of a box and lay it down. A lot of our stuff is custom.
It's teamwork, and it's not even spoken. It's just you go and you do this, and the next guy comes along.
You can spend 2-3 hours just putting down a switch. You know, as time went on, you modify things, you change things.
In our daily world, the daily grind, you come to this magical place. You walk in and you're transported.
If you look closely, you'll see little details that it's exactly as if in real life. There's somebody stopping to talk to somebody. There's a dog biting the pants off a mailman.
One of them in particular, I've had a picnic on their back porch, and that's the back porch.
I came here when I was 14.
I started as an 11-year-old down here, and
I guess you could call it an obsession. It certainly fits that category. It's what makes the whole thing worthwhile, I guess. You know, we can hang out down here and work on things, and but the real goal of it all is to share it with the public.
Instilling a value into people that you can create and you can build. If you can imagine it, you can do this.
When I shut the lights off at night and close these doors, I like to think at times that it all comes to life and all the people get on the trains, go from station to station, do things, and just before you turn the lights on again when you come in, they all run back to exactly where they were.
when it comes to home wrestling matches,
Let's go, Finbar!
Enthusiastic parents are a given at Greenwich High School. So are intense coaches. But another constant isn't quite as vocal. 22-year-old Cameron Kirk handles the numbers.
I do the scoreboard.
It's Cameron's 7th year in the position, which entails more than just flipping over points.
He comes to everything. He's a part of the team. He's a part of the program.
I feel excited and included.
Come on.
And for Cam, being embraced means a lot because he has autism.
Once people like Cameron graduate with special needs, there's no opportunities, or very few, for them to be included in the community.
Cam's interest in wrestling began in junior high when he'd watch his older sister's friends on the team. When he got to high school, the coach at the time asked if he wanted to do the scoreboard.
He loves going there. He loves supporting them.
Come on, Mike.
When he was at the high school, he would recruit them. Are you in the wrestling team? You look like you could wrestle. What would your weight be? When he graduated, he still wanted to do it, and the coach was nice enough to say he could.
26 points in total.
Everyone loves him. He's always positive. He doesn't have anything bad to say ever. So it's just, he's nice to have around.
Cam may not wear a uniform, but he still belongs with this team.
I heard you cheering. Appreciate it.
I don't think these young men know what they're doing. And how much it means to him. It just comes naturally.
And it feels great.
We have ferry service that goes out every day to Sheffield Island.
We'll board in a few minutes.
We do special events, clam bakes, Acoustic Wednesday, sunset cruises, and today is Haunted Lighthouse.
I don't get scared, so I want to see if I do.
I get really scared easily.
She's a baby.
Yeah, she is. Wah, wah. Thank you.
All set.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome aboard the CJ Toth. Our trip out will be approximately 35 minutes.
Go out on Sheffield Island on a beautiful day, take the ferry. It's just a great event.
A lot of water. Looks really bubbly.
Hey, watch your steps getting off.
A lot of Sheffield Island Lighthouse and its history is really ingrained in a lot of like the scary stuff and pirates and ghosts. So we have the lighthouse decorated as sort of a spooky, scary place, giving tours of this haunted lighthouse.
I just jumped.
We have people jumping out of places. Lots of that there. Things falling, things going everywhere.
The creepy pirate dude that fell and touched my leg, I mean, that was pretty scary.
So it's a little fun thing for, you know, both kids and adults.
It was very scary at first at the dinner table when the guy popped out. We had fun.
It's just great to see an old building like that kind of created into something fun.
I really just love the sort of the effect that the island has on people, how happy the island makes them and how cool they think the island is, and sort of how much it's sort of like a day away from all of the rush and craziness, and they're sort of in this whole other world.
After a 15-hour drive, the University of Alabama hockey team arrives at Pro Skate Ice Arena in New Jersey, looking for their 8th win of the season.
All right, boys.
Head coach Kyle Richards knows it could be a tough matchup.
They're young, their goalie is very good, and they will outwork you.
When they take the ice against Rutgers.
Get lots of shots, lots of traffic. The harder you work, the more fun you're going to have.
A little bit of Bruno Mars.
But for senior defenseman Jonathan Lavorne, each game is about more than just the score.
It just says, you know, never forget 12-14-12.
He's had that on 4 helmets.
I'm from Newtown, Connecticut.
Jonathan moved to Newtown just 5 months before the mass shooting that killed 20 students and 6 educators, forcing the community into the national spotlight.
Not a day goes by that we're not going to forget that they were here with us.
So for Jonathan's final 26 games in college,
every game is dedicated to a victim and their family. Tonight will be Josephine Gay.
Let's go, boys!
The 5'9", 165-pound player also changed his number this year.
26. To some people, it's just a number, but to a town, it means everything.
Yeah. Josephine's mom would be the first to tell you.
She was just this positive force in the world.
Michelle Gay has spent the past 5 years finding inspiration in her daughter's short life as a way to move forward.
In so many ways, it seems like it's been an eternity since we've seen her, and then in other ways, it just seems like it just happened yesterday.
The 7-year-old loved the beach, being silly, and the color purple. Joey was autistic and couldn't speak, but touched everyone she knew.
For a stranger to be doing something so simple and so understated and just humble. It's not asking anything, it's giving, it's a gift, and that's hard to come by in this world.
Yes! Go! But not a surprise to Gail Lavorde.
A proud mama. Very proud.
Even when 26 isn't on the bench,
Go, Bama!
his number is.
It brings tears to my eyes when I see it, when we talk about it.
Good blocking!
I don't expect anything from it, but you know, just being able to be a part of it and give back to them, you know, that's what's special to me.
It's an effort that stays with Jonathan, even off the ice.
We're going to continue to do things in a positive manner, promote being loving to other people and being kind.
To see that others have walked away with some little piece of her is everything to us. Thank you for never forgetting.
In hockey, a goalie's job is to make saves.
He was definitely the backbones of our team.
This game started like all the others, with Fairfield's number 30, Charlie Capalbo, in net.
The last game of the season, he felt really lightheaded. You saw him, like holding his hand on the post, trying to hold himself up.
Him and his brother both thought they had like a mono.
We all thought that he was just under the weather.
They weren't prepared for this.
Non-Hodgkin lymphoma, stage 3.
Coach had to break that news to 27 teenaged boys.
We knew that it was bad because the tumor grew very fast.
And just as quickly, life had changed.
Just seeing him rolled by in his bed in the hallway with his eyes closed, I could see him, but he can't see me. And just thinking I was playing hockey with this kid 4 days ago, you know, that's the image that's stuck in my head.
You'd never expect that to happen. It's just completely out of nowhere. And that's what was so overwhelming about it.
So roles reversed, and now the team is behind their goalie every step of the way, even on the way to the OR.
But we all have each other, and we're all there for him.
In less than a week, a GoFundMe page has raised nearly $150,000. Each goal has been met and raised, an obvious testament to how beloved Charlie is. And then there's that smile.
That picture describes Charlie in my world.
That's who he is. Like, nothing stops him. He'll smile through the whole thing no matter how hard it is.
Taking on his toughest opponent will mean 32 months of chemo, but doctors say the cancer is beatable.
Everyone said, why does it have to be Charlie? Because he's just the nicest kid. He has such a good attitude, and we know he's going to fight through it.
And now the team is fighting for number 30 to make the biggest save of his life.
Oh yeah, he'll beat this thing. He'll prevail. You know, I know him.
Everybody pay attention. We're going to start with footwork in about 5 minutes.
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
On guard.
Well, after I get to my right, I kind of wanted to just try something new. Fence.
We are, in fact, the only inner-city fencing team in the whole state of Connecticut.
Fencers ready, fence.
I saw a couple of flyers around the school.
Everyone was like, what the heck is that?
I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
My pastor was like, black folk don't fence. What is that?
I just told him it was a school activity. Felt love ever since.
Something cool to do, you know?
We're completely self-funded this year.
After last year, Bridgeport announced they were cutting funding on the fencing team.
So what we ended up doing was making a GoFundMe page because we didn't want it to end.
We raised over $8,000.
We were able to pay for our buses, we were able to pay for our equipment.
Felt like a loving feeling from all the state. Guard, fence.
The big problem is next year.
Halt, well, light.
There's no guarantee of having it next year, though.
Good, Leslie. It's important to the 40 students that I've got on this team.
And we're like a big family.
It's like people that I wouldn't normally meet.
Hey, man, bro.
And it's like something different to do.
Use your length. It gives them purpose.
Not just sitting home doing nothing at all.
Looking good, Antonio.
It's really cool to bring like a culture that doesn't really know about it.
Come on.
I hope that there's longevity for this team and that these kids have purpose.
It's so fun. I mean, well, I love it.
We've
begin this evening with a breaking news story out of Bridgeport.
A fire broke out at this old building on Stratford Avenue, and that fire can be seen all the way from I-95. News 12 Connecticut's Frank Recchia is there now with the latest. Frank, those pictures, amazing.
Truly amazing. Eric, Marissa, we're at the tail end of a firefighting effort that began on the west side of the Pequannock River around 4 o'clock this afternoon, when authorities tell us that a passing police officer got on his police radio and said, "We have got a burner by I-95 at the old AGI rubber plant." This is right behind the Shoreline Star dog track here in the east side of Bridgeport. People were really taking advantage of the spectacle. Police tell us that for quite some time, people were pulling over on I-95 because that avenue was obscured by thick black smoke. Police tell us that the whole thing began and can be traced back to some type of incident that sparked it inside the vacant building. They say luckily nobody was hurt. Dozens of firefighters have been working this effort. As we look at the video from earlier, you can see that thick, intense black smoke that could be seen from I-95, from the exit 27, 25, 8, Route 8 connector. People were really amazed. It was a really dangerous, potentially dangerous moment as people were pulling over, getting out of their vehicles and looking. Luckily, nobody was hurt. All the spectators got quite a show, though, as that thick black smoke billowed into the air, sending up a signal that could be seen for miles away. As we say, from one side on the connector, the other I-95, people getting out of their vehicles to get an up-close look. Police tell us that luckily they were able to get this fire under control. Fire Chief Richard Thode saying that they worked very hard. It was very intense. They were using seawater, some of the brackish water from the Pequannock River, and they say now, luckily, the fire has been beaten down. They are filling the area, covering it with water to make sure that all the hot spots are smothered. They're going to be here for quite some time. We'll be following the story throughout the evening. We'll have much more here on News 12 Connecticut. For now, in Bridgeport, Frank Recchia, News 12 Connecticut.
In quiet Newtown, Connecticut, what drove a 20-year-old loner to open fire on Sandy Hook Elementary, killing 20 children and 6 adults? Newly released FBI documents are finally offering clues. One woman told agents she spoke with Adam Lanza online for 2 years and that he was focused completely on spree killings and mass murders, even keeping a detailed spreadsheet of them. But why Sandy Hook, and why children and their teachers? The woman told agents Lanza may have believed he was protecting them from adults who don't genuinely care about them. She said Lanza believed that authority figures were inappropriately controlling children. So why didn't she report Lanza to authorities? The woman told FBI agents she didn't know Lanza's name or where he lived, and that she never saw direct indications that he would act out himself and commit a mass murder. Just before the shootings, though, there were other red flags. Another woman told the FBI Lanza went on a suicide website saying, quote, he was going to kill himself and that would be on the news. The woman also told investigators that a YouTube video, quote, might have helped Lanza prepare for the shooting. Also, an online gamer's mother told state police her son was playing Call of Duty Black Ops with an individual who told him to watch the news tomorrow.